So I am at the Hansen Dam in Los Angeles, California. And when I was volunteering on the Los Angeles fires, when I had a little bit of downtime, sometimes in the evening, I would try to go check stuff out. And so this video is just a collection of public spaces kind of in the greater Los Angeles area. Once I finished all my volunteering, I decided to come back through and thoroughly check these places out. So this first place that we're looking at is the Hansen Dam. You can kind of see it off in the background. You can kind of see that ridge. And there's a lot going on in this park. The dam itself is ran by the Corps of Engineers. There's a wildlife refuge, which I'm walking through now. There's a traditional city park with a water park included. And then there's a museum also in the park. And so I didn't really know where to start, so I just pulled over, parked, and started walking. My goal was to get over to the dam and walk across that at first. So my initial thought was to cut through the wildlife refuge to get to the dam, but I quickly realized that the dam was a lot taller and you really could only access the pathway on top of the dam from each end. So I had to backtrack into the park and then back onto this main road right here to get to the end of the dam. Well, this is one end of the dam. Well, this is the pathway along the top of the dam, and it does get a lot of use. I did have to break one of my rules of not filming people. There's just no way that I was going to be able to get a clear shot with no one in it. So this panorama, we start looking west at the Santa Monica Mountains a little bit, and then a little bit of this is the Verdugo mountain range, and then finally off in the distance we're probably getting a little bit of the San Gabriel mountain range. Well, this is looking downstream from the spillway on the Hansen Dam. So this is looking at the reservoir side of the spillway. And of course this meadow out in front is part of the wildlife refuge and doubles as the reservoir. I'm past the spillway, and I had hoped that there were some stairs leading down to the wildlife refuge. The path that leads all the way across the dam is 2 miles, so I knew that I was going to end up doing a lot of hiking since there was no stairs down there. This is the other end of the dam. I'm back in the wildlife refuge here. Not far from the end of the dam, there's this little hill that has good views of the wildlife refuge and the mountains. Starting to get close to the main portion of the city park, but there is still a lake off to the left, which is in the wildlife refuge. Here's a decent overall shot of the dam. I'm over by the water park now, and it was closed for maintenance and renovation when I was there. I decided to walk around it. Ended up being a good choice. On the back side of the water park, there's this recreational lake. I think they do allow swimming here. They also allow small watercraft and fishing. This ended up being the last spot that I stopped at the Hansen Dam before moving on. We're northwest of Los Angeles now, and we're at the Newhall open space. The city of Santa Clarita manages this land, and they, I think, have a couple of these open spaces. There's another one right next to this one called the Gates Kings open space. So there's a 1 mile loop. We started out at the McCadden trailhead, and I'm not going to do the full loop. I just went until I got some decent views. This is Interstate 5, and then behind the interstate is another open space. We're looking southeast towards Los Angeles, but Los Angeles is a long ways off from the Newhall open space. I made it to one of the ridges, and I have to say that trail leading up here was very steep. We managed to come up a couple hundred feet. We're looking east, and some of these mountains are in the Santa Monica mountain range. Well, I've reached another steep section in the trail, and I can tell a lot of these just started out as service roads and that hiking was allowed later on. There's quite a few antennas and even a few cell towers that are up in these mountains. This panorama, we're starting out in the east and then panning around to the north, even maybe a little bit to the northwest. As you can see, some of this land is really rugged, and I think also some of this public land is in the Gates King open space. Well, here's a little side trail, and I don't think any of the different open spaces connect to each other with trails. Well, this is as far as I went. I would have loved to have hiked more. The scenery out of here is pretty amazing, but if I had done the rest of this trail and maybe done the side trail, I mean, look at all this open space. I could be out here for weeks hiking on all these trails. Moving on now, I'm at the Whitney Canyon Park, which is west of the Newhall open space, and this is managed by the Mountain Recreation Conservation Authority. If you take these trails far enough back, you'll end up in the San Gabriel mountain range, which is in the Angeles National Forest. I had no intention of hiking all the way back to the Angeles National Forest on these service roads or trails, whatever you want to call them. I knew that there's going to be enough of these trails, service roads, just within the Whitney Park that I'd be here for quite some time. Plus, I knew that from within the park, I'd get some great views. So, I just stayed in the park. If you hear some weird buzzing noise in the background, that's actually the power lines. Well, I found a little old service road along this ridge, and this ended up being this turnaround spot. I was out on the trails for a couple hours. I did take a bunch of side trails, but as you can see, these trails go way back into the mountains. But from here, there was one more spot that I wanted to check out. This is the last place that I explored in this video, and this is Tuna Canyon Park. It's not far from one of the spots that I volunteered at when I was volunteering on the LA fires. So if I had the energy or just wanted to get away from the hustle and bustle, I'd come up here, maybe even walk down this road a little bit. And this is the South of Tuna Canyon Road. This road is closed down to vehicle traffic. If you walk down this road far enough, you actually end up outside of the park and there's some more open spaces. So here we go. At this point, I'm outside of Tuna Canyon Park. I'm still on public lands. I have two options here. I could continue straight on that trail, which parallels Interstate 5, but I chose to go up this service road right here. I know I could get some good views up this way. So I took several detours, and some of these detours were pretty intense. You can see this is almost a 45-degree angle hill that I'm hiking up now. So here's a panorama of the trail. You can see it down below that I missed by taking those shortcuts. Adds at least a mile to the hike. So I ended up taking the long way down, but this is going to wrap up all these parks that I visited in the LA area. I want to thank you for watching.